Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Data Analytics Demo Day 2. Right. So, as part of today, what are we going to discuss? So, I'm going to give a quick outlines how our session is going to be, what could be the agenda for the whole session, and everything. Right. I'll take a quick walkthrough on the total PPT. So, you will be having a clear idea on the agenda for next 90 days. Okay, right. So, guys, I have already introduced myself, right? So, I'm not going to repeat it again. It's waste of time. 90 hours totally, daily 1 hour. It definitely takes 30 3 months basically, right? So, as part of this tenure, what I'm going to cover, okay. But before that, as I said, I will be sharing the recording sessions. I'll be sharing the recording sessions means I'll be uploading the recording sessions to a Google Drive. This one, this is the total dedicated for you guys when I take data analytics September 8th. And here I will upload the Google recording sessions on daily basis, and this will be accessible by you all. So hope you all able to access that, right? I don't need to send a mail on daily basis. So once I'm done with the session, once I close the session, it creates the MP4 file and I will be uploading the file by renaming it. The file naming convention is going to be Vinaytech underscore the concept name, what exactly we discussed on that particular day. All right? Chalo then. So, friends, yeah, these are all junk actually. We don't want to comment on this. Right. Sir, as part of this, what exactly we are going to cover? This portion that we have already covered in our last session. What are the types of data analytics? Descriptive, what happened in our past, and then why it happened, diagnostic, and then how do we improve the sales in future, forecasting the things in order to achieve my goal, what action that we need to take into the action plan. So how can we make it happen, this particular goal? So we have four types of data analytics, right? This is important interview question, friends. Try to remember this picture. Okay. So, friends, what are we going to cover? As part of this one, we are going to have Power BI, Excel, SQL Server, and Python, right? So don't go with the individual things, sir, because few organizations are looking for advanced Excel for data analytics. That's not for technical guys. That is predominantly for business users, right? And Power BI and SQL, Python, these two are very, very important. People go with either Python or Power BI, right? For these two, SQL is the mandatory thing. SQL is the mandatory thing. So I'm going to start with the Power BI. Okay, right. So now, first, but brochure is starting with Excel, but okay. But practically, from next session onwards, we are going to have session on Power BI because that is really really important. I want to cover good things basically. What do you mean by good things? Bad things? No, I mean to say use cases, right? In Excel, we don't see much use cases. We just need to explore the functions basically, right? Okay, right. Sir, introduction to Excel. We all know that. We don't need to spend too much time on this, right? In Microsoft Excel, personalizing the Excel, where do we use this, and then what kind of ribbons we have, right? And what kind of functions we use, aggregate functions, date functions, string functions, text functions, statistical functions. We have different types of functions and we're going to have a quick walkthrough on it. And I'm going to explain practically only. Don't worry about it, right? Arithmetic. Sir, here we have sum. We have sum if, count count ifs, average if. Sir, what are the aggregate functions? Count, count distinct, sum, min, max, average, right? And then we have other functions as well. In the interest of space, we mentioned only few functions. But as part of our sessions, we're going to have multiple functions as well, right? We have some arithmetic functions, text functions, string functions, I can say, right? Proofing and formatting. So, see, most of the cases on daily basis, I use, I Excels very much predominantly because I get the data in the form of Excel that is provided by MLOs, mortgage loan officers in my organization. So we need to go with the proofing of the data and formatting it. Finally, we have a word called data DQS, data quality services. The data which is available in the Excel should be fully formatted. Quality of the data. But by default, it doesn't contain quality of the data. You have to apply certain conditions. That's where exactly conditional formatting. But if you see that, if you see Excel and Power BI, almost similar, guys. Almost similar. I'll explain you, right? Because because I use Excel, and in Excel we have a concept called Power Query, and in like Power BI also is having a concept called Power Query. But what is the difference between these two? Power Query in Power BI, Power Query in Excel. There is a slight difference. Let me tell you one thing. Power BI is designed on top of Excel. Yes, right, sir. Protecting security in Power BI, we call it as RLS, row level security. How do we provide the security to the users based on their role? Here it is. Protecting Excel and Excel security, password protection, printing workbooks, advanced paste and special techniques. We have, so I want to have same as source, or else I want to apply some cosmetics intermittently. So I have copied some text which is having bullets in the source, but in the destination, I'm not getting the bullets then. No, no, I don't want to apply any operation. Whatever the content you copied from the source must have the same format in the destination. So copy with the source option. So we have paste with the special categories. That's what it is saying. Time and date functions, which are really, 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 really important. Yes. As we discussed yesterday's friends, there is no value for the numerical number without a time, without a time, right? For example, as I said, I got 10 lakhs rupees profit. That is for how many years? For how many semesters? For how many quarters? For how many months? For how many weeks? For how many days? For how many hours? For how many months, minutes? How many seconds? We don't know. Let me put this statement in a proper way. I got 10 lakhs rupees profit for quarter two 2025. That makes sense? Yes, it's a valid statement. So there is no proper valid data analytics statement without time series. So we are going to focus on these time series functions in both Excel, in SQL Server, in Power BI as well. Yes. We have few differences, when compared with the Excel different versions. Excel 23, like 2013, 2016, and Office 365. Okay. These are all very, very simple, friends. So, but they have mentioned it, our institute guys mentioned in an elaborative way. Right. Finding and sorting. We know that you can apply a sorting on an Excel like in a whole column. There are column level operations, not the row level operations. We have, you can apply the operations at column level or row level and both. So these functions, filtering and sorting, can happen at a column level. You can apply them at column level. Right. Printing workbook. Yeah. Goal if analysis. This is our major focus, guys. These are the analytical functions. Analytical functions, right? Goal seek, data tables, solver tools, scenario analysis, right? So that means we look up, right? And then index. We have so many functions to discuss, but we are going to have a deep dive. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to spend much time over here so that we can have enough and valid time over here. So we can spend some time over here to make you understand. You can easily understand this stuff, friends, but it will take a little while, maybe for a few of you guys to understand, because you guys are from different backgrounds. So I need to consider every person available in the session. So that's the reason. So I'm going to spend some time so that you people will be more clear on this. Okay. Right. Data validation. Yes. You can validate the data by applying some drop down list. You can convert from a text box to drop down list if we have similar values. So, and then fill the values into a drop down list dynamically, right? So these are all data validation stuff, right? Logical analysis. Logical. If function, if else, nested if else function. If condition, then else, if condition, then do something. So likewise, we can write multiple if else statements. Right. Array. So far we discussed with the single values, but here we need to focus on multiple values. Multiple values. That's where exactly array. If you remember C, yeah, int a is equal to 10. This is a single value. In the same way, int a is equal to, yeah, sorry, a of 10 and open and close bracket, 12 comma 13 comma 12 comma 120 comma 14 comma 15 16 17, something like that. This is a single variable and this is array of values. Array means a collection of values has been stored in a single variable and depends on the index. Same concept, we have it in Excel as well. Yeah, this is very, very important. These two are very, very important, guys. We use this, every business user knows this. Most of the US business users, because I closely work with US and UK and slightly Singapore, right? Because we have branches in different locations. Now, most of the business users knows this. They are well versed with Excel. They write the VBA code like anything to automate the things. They automate the whole balance sheet, my dear friends, in Excel. Yesterday, I have seen a balance sheet from one of my colleague, and it's like very good. It's like a proper um, balance sheet. Okay, slicing and dicing, dividing the data into multiple pieces where this particular piece of data can be visualized using various charts like bar, pie, line chart, and 3D exploited pie chart and all. You can see them in insert tab, right? You can have single and primary, multiple secondary axis, x-axis and y-axis. Usually you see x-axis and y-axis, right? Yeah. Usually you see x-axis and y-axis, right? But here my report will be having two y-axes. Yeah. So here it is x-axis, dual axis, I can say. I'll give an example. I'll give an example. Recently, in Tableau, I have designed a report, right? So that is for my one of the executive who sits in UK, right? His name is David Hart, right? So what it displays means we have GitHub Copilot, right? Have you heard about it? It's a Gen AI product, and that can be integrated with any of your tool. like JFrog or else any VS Code, which generates the code based generative AI product. Now, luckily, I got a chance to generate the reports that will be used by some executive. What this report displays means in every month, in every month, see friends, in visualization, we have few standards. Those are all fixed wherever you go across globe, right? Please try to understand. For every month, right, or every month or quarter based on the filter. So for every month, how many lines of code being accepted by each team? Out of this, how many lines of code suggested by the tool? And how many lines of code accepted by the attendee? For example, we have Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is looking for something in Copilot. She typed something called retrieve, display or else generate C sharp code to retrieve latest employee details or something. It has given 1,000 lines of code. Copilot has suggested 1,000 lines of code. What is the suggested line of code? 1,000. It displays 1,000 over here. Out of 1,000, Sri Lanka has accepted only 500 lines of code. So what is the percentage? Only 50 percentage of code has been accepted. Rest of the code is rejected by the customer. Where when it was on October 9th. So you got the purpose of. So in this month, Copilot has suggested 1 lakh, like 10,000 lines of code, or 1,000 lines of code. Out of 1,000 lines of code, 500 lines of code has been accepted. The ratio is 50%. That's where exactly, if you want to go with versus for a specific month or for a time series, right? We go with the dual zone or the secondary axis charts. Guys, am I making you confused? The second session? Because, friends, I always put something which is really, really important. Otherwise, there is no point of explaining very, very simple things, friends. You know how to generate a report, right? Right? So, am I really making you confused, guys? Am I really making you confused?
No, no, Balaji. All good.
Okay. How about others, please? Jaisimha, are you able to understand? Because this is our first session. Am I taking the understandable examples? Because those are all things which I have been using in my organization. That's the
No, no,
reason.
no. No, we are good, Balaji.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Sorry,
So,
the to unmute it taking some time, so I'm
no,
sorry
no, no.
about it.
That's perfectly fine, sir. Even in my meeting, if someone asks me, Balaji, are you there? Means it will take a little time to make myself unmute. Yeah, it's perfectly fine, sir. Yeah, right. So that's where exactly dual axis charts will comes into the picture. Excel dashboards. We prepare the dashboards with the help of pivot tables. This is really, really important. Okay, right. Okay, so that is about the total Excel. These are all the topics which we are going to cover as part of data analytics. And moving on to Power BI, which I'm going to start from tomorrow onwards. But I'm not going to jump into Power BI directly, friends. The prerequisite for Power BI is data warehousing concepts. That's the reason I asked them to add data warehousing concepts. So tomorrow we are going to focus on prerequisites for Power BI, that is data warehousing. What do you mean by data warehousing? Let me give a quick introduction part, intro part. Database, and I have a data warehousing. But when do we go with the database and when do we go with the data warehousing? Why do we prepare data warehousing on top of the data warehousing? Sorry, on top of the database? right? So I'm going to answer all these questions. And what do you mean by star schema? Before that, we need to understand what do you mean by dimension table? What do you mean by fact table? How do we relate these two? And what do you mean by star schema and snowflake schema? What is the difference between these two? Which is a really, 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 really important question. Can you please explain the differences between star and snowflake schema? Wherever you go, friends, and you can see this question. That is from data warehousing, right? That's from data warehousing, right? So first, Power BI, before that, I'm going ahead and explain the data warehousing concept and data mapping as well. Data mapping is another important concept. What do you mean by data mapping? How two different tables can be joined each other. Because these are all prerequisites for Power BI, sir. There is no point of dealing with the Power BI without having the prerequisites. Yes, if someone says that these are all not mandatory and they are all very simple and these are all the things that you can go through or in any Google, they are simply bluffing you. We need to have a clear understanding of the data warehousing concepts. If you see this here, friends, if you see this diagram, first, we have the data in the OLTP system, online transactional processing. From here, from this data source, I'm trying to extracting the data in and then loading the data into a data warehousing system for a huge data storage. This is a data warehousing system. And then use it for our cubes, basically. Cubes. Cube is nothing but a multi-dimensional storage area and use this for our data analytics purpose. This is a standard BI process which we have discussed in our last session, if you remember. Are we good, Amma? Okay, right, right. See, data warehouse fundamentals. Ralph Kimball and W.H. Inman. We have two different models basically. I'm going to explain that. Models are approaches, both are same. Ralph Kimball model and then W.H. Inman. Two models. Right. Next one. Sir, data model theory and practicals. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Data modeling. In IT industry, data modeling is a separate role. Yeah, if you know data modeling job is very, very high paid job basically. Wherever you go, you see only one modeler for the whole project. Only one data modeler for a whole project actually, just like a scrum master. What are all his roles and responsibilities? What does he do? Basically, he first understand. He sit with the like product owner who has complete knowledge on the product and then try to understand the data. Data. First, he has to understand the data. Okay, first step. Second step, what do you want to achieve? I want to achieve some X. In order to achieve some X, what tables do I need to take into the account? For example, I want to understand how many products were sold out by each country, right? So in that case, I need to consider product table and country table. That's it, right? Now, once I select the tables, do we have a relationship between the country and the product table? Yes. If not, then you need to establish the relationship between the tables. Otherwise, you are not going to get the right metrics and right data. So, being a data modeler, I consider the tables and make sure these tables are interconnected each other. And I need to ensure no table is isolated. That's what you can see over here. Dim course, dim counseling mode, student, and then children, and then location and a date. These are the different dimension tables, and this is the fact table. If you see that here, guys, it is, it may not be a clear one, but see, the course, course mode, online or offline, student details. All these tables are directly connected to a table called a bridge table or else a fact table. Okay. For my data analytics course, right? Data analytics course, offline, completely offline. And then, okay. Jay Shankar has joined online. Jay Shankar is my student. He joined online for a course called Power BI, like, data analytics. And then attitude, like, is nothing but from which institute? From Vinay Tech. And then location is, his location is from Bangalore. And then when did he started? When did he completed? And then all this data information. And what is the fee that he paid? So, if you want to get the total information about the Jaishankar, you need to join 3 plus 3, 6 plus 1, 7 tables must be joined. Are we good friends? Okay, we have Sri Lekha, right? Sri Lekha is a student. She joined offline, right? For which course? For MSBI. And then she's from which institute? Vinay Tech House. Location is Hyderabad, Amirpet. And then date is when did she started and when it's been completed, how many hours she's taking the session, and how much did she paid. And she got discount because she joined for both ADF and then data analytics. What is the discount percentage and what is the GST and what is the discount amount? What is the total amount that she has to pay? So, being a data modeler, what are the tables that I need to take into the account for my scenario and ensure all these tables are related each other and make sure no table is isolated. Are we good with the concept, Amma? Are we good with the concept, my dear friends? Please, Amma, say something, Amma. Yes? Okay.
Yes, we are good.
Yeah, okay. See, as part of this one, this is completely theory ending, but you have to understand it, my dear friends. This is really, really important. When you start your career in data, right, you need to understand the data modeling. But it's very easy again. I'll make it very easy, right? I don't worry. I know how to deal that. Please leave it to me. Data modeling concepts, business concept, business layer, conceptual layer, logical and physical models, dimension tables and types of dimensions, and then fact tables, types of fact tables, schemas, star schema, snowflake schema, and galaxy or hybrid, and then surrogate key. We have a slight difference between a primary key and surrogate key. These are all very, very important interview questions when you go for Power BI position, when you go for data analytics position. You know, this whole itself takes minimum 2 to 3 days for me, friends. Literally, minimum 3 days. I don't know how to complete this whole course in 90 days. It never completes, honestly saying. It because it takes if you increase the content, obviously number of days will be increased. No, if you want me to complete in 90 days, in that case, I need to take more hours over the weekend. But I'm not going to skip it, friends. After this session, I want you to see in a good positions, basically, at least in the jobs. Right. Now see, yeah, where are we now? Right. See that now, yes, surrogate key, relationships. Hey, can someone tell me what is the relationship between a student table and a course table? Student and a course. Guys, please. What are the types of relations we have? One to one, one to many, many to many, and many to one.
One
These
to
are the
many.
relationships we have. Student and courses.
One to many.
One to many. One student can join. We already discussed that. Sri Lanka can join both data analytics and Azure BI, ADF, Azure Data Factory. Or else Azure BI is also fine. So one to many relationship. The relationship between a student table and course table is one to many relationship. So we are going to have with the practicals. Right. Right. Okay. Fine then. There are the cross filter snowflake schema examples. This is giving snowflake schema. But how do you differentiate between star and snowflake? Between star and snowflake. The star and snowflake, where are you? Yeah, star and snowflake. But anyhow, I'll come back to that. Right. Sir, once you are done with the report design, you need to you need to publish this report to a common platform because we use Power BI desktop to design the dashboard. That is a standalone machine, standalone software that sits in our local machine. But your client is sitting in other side of the globe. Then, okay, Sri Lanka has designed a dashboard using Power BI, but I want to see that. No, I can't see because she is in other location and I am in some other location. So until and unless Sri Lanka publishes or deploy her report from her local machine to a common area, I can't say this. That common area is nothing but Power BI services. That's where exactly Power BI server will comes into the picture. Okay, that's where exactly Power BI cloud environment. Okay, guys. But here we deploy multiple things, gateways to pass the data from on-premise to cloud and cloud to on-premise. This is one-time activity. You may not be getting the privilege to install it in our real-time environment because this is one-time effort. You can see that in my local machine, on-premise data gateway, on-premise data gateway. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. It's a one-time effort, data gateway. Right. Working with Power BI desktop and connections. This is how it looks like. You can get the data from these many data sources. We're going to have a deep dive into this one from tomorrow onwards. But tomorrow, maybe tomorrow, I will be explaining the data warehouse concepts, friends, which are really, really important. Right? Yeah. Okay. Working with the databases, cubes, and file systems and different changing modes. Cube, SSAS cube, databases, and you can import the data from file systems as well. File systems and cloud as well. Cloud. Okay. Right. These are the different options working on Power BI desktop components. Power BI, Power Query, Pivot, Power View, and Power Map. We have four different options. They are very simple, friends. Don't worry. Power Query, Power Pivot, Power View, and Power Map. Very simple. Right. Power View menu items. Yeah. See, this is they are all the different options available in the. This is nothing but a ribbon. Whole portion is a ribbon. When you select insert, you can see its corresponding options. We call it as a ribbon and options. But you need to do some practice, and honestly, friends, I'm telling you frankly, very frankly, we need some time to do practice and because it's a tool, friends. Until and unless you do some practice, things will not move and things will not be under your control. You have to do the practice. Tomorrow you will see how my cursor moves, right? And I want you to be, in the same mode basically. That comes only through practice, and I am not a god or something to move the cursor fastly. Okay, right. In the home tab, you have get data. Home tab, get data. This is really useful for you guys, and we have different options to select. Okay, we have so many options to select for every option. For every option, you can see sub options basically, menu options. So this is really important for you guys. Power BI data sets. Right. Sir, when I create the data set, the same data set can be reused. See, create hierarchies and analyzing the data. What do you mean by hierarchy? Friends, what is our organizational hierarchy? CEO and then director, senior. Okay, first let us come from the bottom. Junior software engineer, senior software engineer, technical lead or team lead, manager, senior manager, right? AVP, VP, vice president, SVP, senior vice president, and then director, and then senior director, and CEO. That is how the total organization hierarchy looks like. So here, all are interrelated, right? In the same way, you can create the hierarchies in the data section as well. For example, let me give you a quick example. Sir, being a business analyst, I want to analyze my business data with respect to year wise, or with respect to quarter wise, or with respect to month wise, with respect to week wise, with respect to day wise, with respect to hourly basis, with respect to minutely basis, with respect to seconds basis. You know, in the year of 2007, when I was with Capgemini Mumbai, I worked for a project called Procter& and Gamble's P&G, right? Where they asked us to populate the data to analyze hourly basis, shift basis. 8 hours is nothing but a shift. So what is the total revenue generation for each shift? 3 shifts is nothing but a day. So we need to create a hierarchy until lowest level granularity occurs. See that now? Date hierarchy, and my date hierarchy is having year-wise data, quarter-wise data, month-wise data, day-wise data. That's it. We don't, this is the least level value or else lowest level granularity. Friends, are you getting the points? Are you getting the points? Friends, we are all the job seekers. We need to understand this terminology, right? When you people decided to join for a training session, forget about I don't know all these things. You have to know, and I need to inject the things into your mind. Now tell me, if you are not so clear, I am very much happy to repeat it once again. Even one person asks me, I am very much happy to repeat it again out of 8 members. Out of 8 members, if someone asks me, one person is enough. Anyone? Guys, don't feel shy. We're all here to learn the things. Please. Yeah. Do we have any questions on this so far? Otherwise, I'll take a next step. Okay, fine then. So here, friends, we have a M language, and we don't need to worry about it. That generates automatically. M language generates automatically. We don't need to worry about it. Okay, right. Query properties, reusable queries, and you can write your own queries, merging values, appending values, all these things are available. But until and unless you do practically, you see practically, you can't understand it. Right. Column level properties, filter level properties, these are all the things basically. Parameters, it's really important again. And miscellaneous transformations. You can convert to rows to columns and columns to rows. You can revert the rows and transfer the rows. And these are all improves the quality, right? Yeah, mesh up or YAM language, as we discussed. We're going to have deep dive into these areas as well. Right. So guys, report data and relationships and DAX queries. We can see 4 types of visuals over here. Visuals. When you see this here, come on, yes. Data section, visualization and filter sections. These are all panes, basically pain, P-A-N-E, pain, pain. These are all the ribbons. Ribbons. We have multiple ribbons. We are going to have deep dive into each ribbon again. Right. So that is about the total. Power BI is very vast and right. So I try to cover as much as I can. DAX is very, very important. If there is no DAX means there is no Power BI only. You don't need to attend the session, honestly saying. DAX is very, very important, even in real time and even when you go for an interview as well. Okay? Right. These are all the DAX functions. And again, Python. Python is having, for data analytics, Python is, very simple course where you will be focusing on multiple libraries, multiple libraries, matplotlib, and then we have NumPy to understand the, numerical values, and then if else statement. Initially, I will be giving introduction to Python, and then we'll be going ahead with the data structures, and then so functions are very, very important over here. Yeah. See, matplotlib. Here are the libraries, basically, data visualization part. And then NumPy to work with the arrays and database connections. Python is so much sophistication and it's a really, really good course actually, right? And then, yes, data types and databases. What are the prerequisites? What are the prerequisites? These are all the prerequisites basically, but I'm going to cover all these things, mandatory topics. As we discussed, this is the mandatory. And for Power BI, SQL is the mandatory. Everything is mandatory, guys. Balaji is saying everything is mandatory. No, I'm not saying everything is mandatory. If it is mandatory, then I'm saying mandatory. Yeah. So what are the tools that we need to have in our machines? You need to have Power BI. You need to have Excel. You need to have SQL Server because you need to understand how SQL Server connects to Power BI and Excel, right? Yeah. Those are all fine. So databases and tables, and we are going to have sample databases, and you don't need to worry about it. AdventureWorks is the sample database provided by Microsoft. And this is completely talking about the SQL, DDL, DML, DCL, TCL, DRL. These are all the scripting languages. So this is about the total SQL part. Oh my God, this is totally 20 pages document, Andy. Right? Yeah. Right. So these are all the things which we are going to cover as part of data analytics. And if you go with individual course, friends, individual things, right? So it would be much costlier. So go with the whole set. Will be good there. Yeah. So over to you, friends. Do you have any questions? Okay. Tomorrow, what we are going to cover? Tomorrow, I'm going to start with the data warehousing concepts. And then, if time supports, we'll be designing a dashboard as well. Right. Any other questions on this? Friends, any other questions on this? No. Okay. Right. Jaisimha, do you mind to share your contact number? No. You have the total list. If someone missed over here, you can provide your email ID. And then yesterday, few guys hasn't shared our details like Rupa. Rupa, is it your first session? Let me stop the recording.